Whoopses! It's me, Lloyd, the musical unicorn, and I have here...
Josephina. I am a human slave.
Yes, Josephina. She's a human slave. And we're reviewing something very close to all of our hearts, Sweeney Todd, by Stephen Sondheim. Now, some of you may not be aware that I, Lloyd, am very into musicals. I mean, this account's called Broadway Booties, so I guess you guess I might like Broadways. But, you know, there's some stupids over there, so I'm telling you, I like the Broadways. And I would say one of my favorite Broadways of all time is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And who could blame me? It is such a beautiful musical. It's got the guy with the hair and the knife, slitting throats, bleeding everywhere. I just love the taste and look of blood. Don't you, Josephina?
Yes, I
Josephina loves the taste and look of blood. And sometimes I put it in a smoothie, but that's not relevant. What's relevant today is talking all about Sweeney Todd. So let's just get right to it, shall we? Now, this musical opens with this beautiful song called The Ballad of Sweeney Todd. And they unfortunately kept it out of the Johnny Depp film adaptation, and which such a shame. I see why they did it, but oh, it was such a good song. It sets the tone, and it has quite a few reprises, you know, so people who are idiot humans might forget, hey, you know, that's what this show's about. So they sing it to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I know. It's all about Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Hey, let's attend his tale. So...
swing your razor wide, Sweeney. Swing it to the sky.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so after that, you get introduced to Sweeney Todd and Anthony. Now, Anthony is the sailor who's also a stalker, as he does sing to a girl that he's going to steal her, and that he's buried sweetly in her yellow hair, which I'm assuming means that he is a lice, or a louse, that is hiding inside the hair of that poor girl, Joanna.
I wish he was buried sweetly in my sweet yellow hair.
But the other not creepy person in this is Sweeney Todd, and man, what a guy, you know? He is such a nice dude. He just doing something nice for the community, even after the community treated him like crap. He's going around and he's bringing down the human race that deserve to die, because we all deserve to die, except me, Lloyd, because I'm not a guy, I'm a unicorn, and everyone needs a unicorn in their life. So, bless you, Sweeney. Bless you. You're not killing people, you're saving lives, Sweeney Todd. Saving lives. And then after that, we're introduced to this other girl that's like, how'd you like some muff, Mr. Sailor? And it's like, because she's a horny dog, you know? She's going around, she's looking for the horny sailor dogs. And you might say, but Lloyd, aren't you a horny dog? And I say, no! I'm a horny horse! It's funny because I have a horn, and I'm a unicorn. Boing. It's funny. She leaves, and she's this mysterious beggar woman that's singing about the bangy, the boingy, whatever she says. And then we're introduced to Mrs. Lovett. Now, she makes great pies out of human flesh, and let me tell you, woo! Human flesh is delicious. I mean, I just love the sweet taste of a delectable human. I'm sorry. I'll do that later. Okay, so, yes, human flesh, Mrs. Lovett. Now, she, unfortunately, does the terrible task of killing poor Sweeney Todd. Sweet Sweeney with this black hair, the white streak, and...
He will be missed.
He's so missed. But I'm getting ahead of myself. She was so mean to Sweeney. But You know what? At the beginning, she's nice. She makes pies for a living, and she doesn't have any meat to make meat pies, so she just puts cockroaches in them. And, ew, cockroaches. I tell you, I tried to eat those for a while because, my physician said I should stop eating humans because they're very high in cholesterol. And I was like, then what am I supposed to eat? And he says, why don't you eat the cockroaches? Or drink rainbows like unicorns did? Then I called him a racist bastard, but you're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Sweeney Todd. Okay, so Sweeney Todd. Now, let's talk about the songs. Now, my favorite song on the show is A Little Priest because it is so beautiful. It's like this nice little romp that's also telling puns about killing and eating people. It's ingenious. And if you know anything about me, Lloyd, you'll know that I love puns and eating people. So, this was the show for me. Josephina, what was your favorite song?
I would have to say the one where we all deserve to die.
The one that we all... Why was that your favorite?
Because we all deserve to die.
Oh, beautiful, Josephina. Beautiful, beautiful. I loved you, baby. Okay, so We All Deserve to Die. That was a beautiful song, too. I mean, it wasn't beautiful, beautiful, but it was nice. It's a nice, cute little number. Okay, so let's see. There's other songs. There's Joanna, the creepy stalker Anthony song, where he sings outside her window that he wants to bury into her hair and that he's going to steal her from her father figure, who is Judge Turpin, who in the movie was played by Severus Snape himself. And I don't mean the actor, I mean he was actually played by Severus Snape. I mean, they're just the same person in different roles. It's pretty obvious that Severus Snape is actually a real person. So, you can't fool me, Hollywood directors. Alright. So, there's Judge Turpin, who's this creepy guy who steals this girl and is planning to marry her even though she's like 18. And our hero, Sweeney Todd, is going to put a stop to it. Because Joanna's actually his daughter. What, Josephina?
Alan Rickman treated her like he was his father.
That wasn't worth stopping me. Okay, so you're not allowed to smile. You just ruined your whole mystique. I don't care. So, okay. So, Joanna is Sweeney's daughter. And Sweeney has plans to steal her from Judge Turpin, but not the creepy stalker Anthony thing. It's just because it's his rightful thing to take his daughter back because Judge Turpin's kind of a dillweed. And he wants to put her in a mental institution because she wouldn't... Yeah, I don't get it. But... So Judge Turpin's this really creepy, I'm Severus Snape, love me guy. And then he's got Peter Pettigrew as his servant, who is... He's not as bad, but I mean, he snaps a bird's neck. So I guess that's a little mean, I mean, but who doesn't like snapping necks every once in a while? I know I do. Okay, so he snaps the neck of the bird, and the bird dies, and that's pretty much all our characters. We got Peter Pettigrew. Oh, I forgot all about the little guy. There's Tobias, who in one version was played by Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris, Doogie Howser, Barney Stinson, Dr. Horrible, who I'm going to do a review of that. Man, I love Dr. Horrible. He was also a villain in the Batman cartoon, but I love Neil Patrick Harris. And, man, his role, he was probably the best Toby, who's this little boy that used to work for Mr. Pirelli, who was this Italian-Irish guy that was a rival barber of Sweeney and was also Sweeney's first kill in the show. So he was a role and he was funny, but he wasn't there long enough to really leave an impact. So we have all the characters. We have Toby, who's loyal and determined, and we have Mrs. Lovett, who's crazy and likes pie, and we have Sweeney Todd, who's a great soul, and I love him so. We have Anthony, who's a creepy stalker man. We have Judge Turpin, who's Severus Snape. And we have Joanna, who's about as interesting as a brick. So, those are our characters. And now let's talk a little more about the story. Which brings us back to Sweeney Todd wanting to kill Severus Snape. And that's completely ruined by creepy stalker Anthony, who breaks in at the exact wrong moment while he's singing about pretty women. He's right about to slit the throat. He's about to end the whole movie. And then Anthony has to run in. And then Sweeney has the brilliant epiphany to kill everybody. And I mean, whoa! That's some genius thinking right there. I couldn't think of anything better myself. Wait, that's actually a great idea. Hey, Josephina, make sure to take down that we're gonna kill everybody, all right? Okay, so after that, after the murderizing and the killing of the shrew or whatever, we have Sweeney Todd, who then plans with Mrs. Lovett to murder other people and put them into pies so she can have meat to make her meat pies. Now, isn't that ingenious? I certainly thought so. So, I guess after the meat pies were made and the cooking and the meeting, they get really popular. And Mrs. Lovett says, hey, let's go by the sea. Let's get married. And Sweeney Todd's like, sure, anything you say, blah, 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 blah. And then this is the final act. This is where everything goes downhill. This is where everyone dies. Toby's like, Mom, nothing's going to harm you. And Mrs. Lovett's like, oh, what are you talking about? Nothing's going to harm me. There's not a serial killer living upstairs. Don't be ridiculous. Okay, good, Ma. I'm just going to go downstairs with the meat grinder. And then she locks the door, and he's locked in there with the meat grinder. What's poor little Toby going to do? Well, poor little Toby decides to crawl through the rafters or something. So then Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney crawl through the rafters. Sweeney kills Beetle Bamford or Peter Pettigrew. Sweeney kills Severus Snape. And then he kills his wife, who was actually the beggar woman asking for the hanky-panky roly-poly at the beginning. So, really, there was a big plot twist. You didn't know he was going to kill his wife, but he did. And it turned out Mrs. Lovett, that rapscallion, knew that it was his wife and didn't even tell him. So then he was like, Mrs. Lovett, what are you doing? And then Mrs. Lovett was like, it's because I love you. I'm so sorry. And then he's like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. And then he throws her into a furnace and she burns to death. And then he cries over his wife. Toby slits his throat and kills him, that little rascal. And then Joanna and Anthony the Stalker, they run away. Now, and that is Sweeney Todd. A beautiful, magnificent musical filled with all sorts of great music and such. Do you have any closing thoughts, Josephina?
Nope.
Josephina has no closing thoughts. My closing thoughts is, hello, I'm Lloyd, and there'll be plenty more Lloyd where that comes from.
And I am Josephina. I am a human slave.
No one cares about you. All right, see you later. Remember, you can always trust your dreams, and you should follow them because you're a beautiful human being. Well, depending on who you are. You might be a hideous person, but maybe you're a beautiful human being, or a unicorn like me. So, keep trying. Because you can all be Lloyd the Unicorn someday.